Next on Worcester News Tonight, a vigil held at Worcester City Hall to honor community members lost from homelessness. Plus, Wormtown Brewery debuting their new Dunkin Dark Roast, just in time for the winter season. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. On the longest night of the year and the first day of winter, more than 100 people gathered at City Hall to remember community members lost from homelessness. Mayor Joseph Petty says he and City Manager Edward Augustus are happy with the team they've built and the work being done to address homelessness in the city. He says they've discovered ways to house people short-term while the temperatures drop.
Homelessness and other issues affecting people in Worcester, but we still have a long ways to go, and so I'm sure we'll get there.
Mayor Petty says the next step and goal is to find permanent housing for the homeless. Worcester's LED streetlight retrofit project is officially complete. Tonight, the last of more than 13,000 streetlights throughout the city transitioned to LED. At the site on Moore Street, a check for more than $2 million was presented to the city. City Manager Edward Augustus says it's part of a number of credits and rebates they receive for transitioning the lighting. The city manager says this project is expected to save taxpayers a lot of money.
Almost $1 million in savings to the taxpayers every year, so that's kind of a big deal. And it's cleaner light, gives us operational efficiencies, and that when a light goes out, we don't have to have somebody call us. We get an email to know it's out.
Augustus says the city has the ability to calibrate the intensity of the light from a cell phone or an iPad, giving them a lot of capabilities they didn't previously have. The Worcester Railers are bringing the Christmas spirit to Worcester by making sure everyone has a tree for the holidays. Thursday night, the Railers HC Foundation teamed up with Ernie's Discount Christmas Trees to give away 200 trees. It's all part of the Railers' mission to give back this holiday season. Dozens of local residents took part and were pleasantly surprised by the free tree.
We thought this would be a great opportunity to help out families that may have not been able to afford a Christmas tree this season, so we've come down here at Ernie's Discount Trees and given back to the community. I have people come back, pick out a tree, and it's really just a fun and exciting part of the job.
One of my friends here, her stepfather told us that this event was going on because we were getting ready to go out and get a Christmas tree. So we drove right over and we made it. It's very exciting. I just got back from college and I'm normally the one that does most of the house decorating. So I get home and my pa will help me finish it up.
The Railers will be donating more than $40,000 this holiday season to various local community organizations to spread the holiday cheer. An admitted career criminal accused of striking and seriously injuring an Auburn police officer with a car pleaded guilty today. The officer was able to deliver his message to the driver who hit and left him. Our Rosalind Flaherty has the story.
Counts 5 and 6, operating to endanger. Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
48-year-old Matthew Ostrander pleads guilty in Worcester Superior Court Thursday. He will spend the next 15 years behind bars after he hit and seriously injured an Auburn police officer.
He was under the influence of heroin at the time and did not intend any of his actions.
Ostrander was arrested in February. During a police chase, Auburn police officer Luis Santos was putting out stop sticks when Ostrander struck him.
From waking up screaming as I have a flashback of being hit by a Hyundai Santa Fe, anger for what my family has gone and is going through.
Officer Santos came face to face with Ostrander in court as he read his impact statement. Santos is still recovering from a broken leg and other injuries, saying it's been a tough time for him and his family.
My children cried. They expressed fear. They feared to even touch me initially since they did not want to make Dad's boo-boos any worse.
Officer Santos says the timing of the near-death experience took a toll, since he and the department were still healing after the death of fellow officer Ronald Tarantino Jr.
It hurt me to see their wounds being rehashed. I could see it in their eyes. It hurt me to see my chief at the foot of my bed stating, "You could have died."
You hear that call and it brings back memories of different things, and we're all fortunate that it could have turned out worse for both sides.
The father of 4 says he's ready to move forward and continue to get better so he can get back to work as an officer.
From this point, we'll close this chapter and continue on.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
Now we go to Sturbridge. Investigators are trying to determine what sparked a massive overnight fire. Glenn Marshall has the latest.
Paneling, a caved-in roof, and a Christmas tree hanging out of a window. The remnants of a 5-alarm fire that destroyed a multi-family home in Sturbridge Wednesday night.
I was in shock. I still am, actually.
Dennis Rhines was awakened by a loud banging on his door. His neighbors trying to save him from the flames, ripping through the 3rd floor. He evacuated with only the clothes on his back and a few important documents.
Huge flames. They were shooting above the roof, maybe 10, 15, maybe more than that.
Sturbridge firefighters called in for help from around the area. They were able to knock down the fire by 2 a.m. Thursday morning, but it was too late for much of Dennis's property. His ceiling caved in, water damage evident through his home. Despite the loss, he's grateful for the community rallying to help. Scott Latour with Latour's Twisted Spoke was on scene helping to get anything salvageable out of the apartment.
One guy stopped by with a little gift card so that they could go and get something to eat, and it kind of makes you feel better about humanity.
As Dennis loaded up his car with some of his soaked items, he was able to smile and maintain his perspective.
You can replace things, but you cannot replace your life.
And the Sturbridge Fire Department say they are investigating this as an electrical fire. Meanwhile, the Southbridge Credit Union say they are collecting donations for victims. Here in Sturbridge, I'm Glenn Marshall for Worcester News Tonight.
Wormtown Brewery and Dunkin' Donuts teaming up to create a first-of-its-kind brew. The new beer is a limited edition, and with a line out the door, owners say it's a dream come true. Our Brittany Schaefer has the story.
The partners decided to hold the launch today to celebrate the winter solstice. The first pour was exactly at 11:28 this morning. They say they wanted to pair the darkest day of the year with the dark roasted brew.
2, 1!
After 3 years of planning, the new dark roasted brew has arrived at Wormtown Brewery.
There's a lot of chocolate and roast coffee flavors in stout already. So what we did is we brewed the beer to emphasize the roast coffee flavors from the coffee itself and have that pair perfectly with all the other flavors inside of a stout.
It is the first ever beer to be brewed with Dunkin' Donuts dark roasted beans, and only 8 kegs were made. Wormtown says with the large turnout, they could sell out in one day.
Having a line is something you dream of, and over 100+ people out there is incredibly exciting.
It's a work day, and I got here at 10:30 and there's a line already. So I mean, they always say America runs on Dunkin', so Wormtown has Dunkin' Donuts coffee in it now, so I guess Wormtown runs America.
Beer columnist Norman Miller has been coming to Wormtown since its opening in 2010 and even had a beer named after him at the brewery. Miller says the dark roasted brew has his approval.
There's a lot of chocolate malt in this, so you get a lot of coffee and chocolate in it, and it's relatively full body. It's 7.5% alcohol by volume. It's creamy. It's a really good stout.
Head brewer Scott Drake says this partnership means big things for Wormtown and for Worcester.
It's great for us as a community. A lot of people frequent here and Dunkin's. I just think it gives great exposure for us, and that we can work together. Even though Dunkin's is a big company, they can still work together with small local people.
It's a good local story for Worcester because we're known for family businesses, and there's been a history of innovation from the Industrial Revolution on. And we think this is another hallmark of that innovation.
If we weren't already on the map, we're definitely on the map now.
Now, this beer is only available at the brewery. Wormtown says they haven't sold out yet, but they expect to soon. As for the next batch, they say this was a test run and they may sell bottles next year. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
And the new partnership donating more than $11,000 to the Worcester County Food Bank Thursday. The $11,500 will produce more than 22,000 meals. Dunkin' Donuts says it's a great way to give back during the holidays. A representative from the Worcester County Food Bank says the reason they're able to feed families is because of donations and kind people like Dunkin' Donuts and Wormtown Brewery. Patients at UMass Memorial Children's Medical Center had a special visit Thursday. Santa climbed down a tower crane outside of the unit to visit the kids. Dozens of sick children waited with their parents and their caregivers as a man in the red suit made his way down the building. Nurse manager Gina Gardner says seeing the smiles on their faces is what Christmas is all about.
Say hi. that's what I want people to know about the Children's Medical Center. That's why we do what we do. We take care of the children, and it's not just taking care of their illness, it's taking care of their inside, their outside, and making this a great day for them.
Children even had a chance to sit on Santa's lap and get some presents. Well, some are calling it a holy war of lights. 2 Catholic shrines with 2 of the biggest Christmas displays in Massachusetts. Jonathan Cho has more on this showdown.
Mary, full of grace. When the darkness starts to set in, you can always count on the prayers and the lights. Thousands of bulbs in all shapes and sizes.
500,000 lights.
Sparkling and shimmering across the evening sky.
I love the nativity scene.
Add to that a merry-go-round, a donkey.
Real live donkey, yep.
And long lines.
It's like right in your face color, you know what I mean?
That pretty much sums up the holiday season at La Salette Shrine in Attleboro. Father Ted Brown says visitors from all around the world come to be amazed.
You can just see the little kids' faces light up. That's my favorite.
25 miles away in Holliston, there's another dazzling showcase.
It is more emotional. It is, and especially hearing the music.
Enter Our Lady of Fatima Shrine.
Brings it back to your childhood.
Slightly smaller, quieter, and there's no merry-go-round.
It's not very, very crowded, so you can take your time.
Father Joseph Mateocic does double duty here and helps with parking because they need more volunteers.
And every year, you know, because something breaks.
Yet all of this is still a sight to behold.
And enjoy.
Some are calling it a holy war of lights.
How can you beat this?
Shrine versus shrine, an arms race of colorful displays. And whose baby Jesus is cuter?
We won't talk about that.
But these men of God insist it's not a competition.
No. We would lose if we do a competition, you know.
Rather an escape from what Anthony D'Arienzo says is now part of Christmas in America.
It's like a consumer thing. It's the buy, buy, buy.
Here at the shrines, the lights are free.
Just enjoy the Christmas spirit.
And they're shining a lot of bright lights on the reason for the season.